Professor Zhang. Uh, Very welcome. Sorry. I'm sorry. I think the second video is on. Well, we are going to have more time to watch those videos. But first of all, today, let's start off group discussion about the organic fertilizer. So welcome, Professor. The floor is yours. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have anything you would like to share, any feedback from the local farmers, any testimonies, or the challenges that you come across during your field uh, experience, that you can raise your questions and we can have a discussion with Professor. Thank you.
Hello, and we can either just speak out, or if you have connection issues, you can put a text in the chatting room so we can see and to see what we can serve you. We can discuss anything. We have been talking this fertilizer for a while, so we have all the basic ideas. This fertilizer is foliar, most used as a foliar application, basically spray on the leaves. You can use in the soil, but it's not a best efficiency. Think on the leaf is better. And also it's full of nutrients, amino acids, and trace elements. Recently, I got somebody asked to see what's the pH of our fertilizer. Because we are using organic fertilizer, try to improve the soil pH. So what is your pH? That's a good question. First, the soil pH is a soil feature. It is not easily to modify, to change. Soil pH, basically you can see from the color, or you see, if you don't know, see the color, if basically if we're a little bit reddish, and if they're hard like cement, maybe pH either very low or very high. So a lot of plants, they like different pH requirement. Most agriculture crops, like a corn, wheat, sweet potato, all this what we normally plant require the neutral around 6 to 7 pH value. Some plants like very low pH, like we have for the blueberry. Blueberry, you think it produces a lot of berries. The leaf is so, leaf is not hard, it's soft. And actually they require pH around 4.5. So it's an acidic soil. If your pH is too high, like my garden pH is kind of around 6 to 7. And the blueberry they produce good enough of the blueberries, but it's not the highest yield, not the largest size. The blueberry research station, somebody been there in New Jersey in USA, they actually located in the region the soil pH is low. It's not only for blueberry. Actually, that region is some like pines, a lot of trees. They all love low soil pH. So when we try to use organic fertilizer, to do all the organic practice. The objective is to try to don't lower more soil pH, bring back the soil pH for most agricultural crops. If we keep using chemical fertilizer, the soil pH will be going down. Because most of our crops, most of our work is we need neutral soil pH. By using organic fertilizer, especially the compost or green manure or other organic materials, you add a lot of organic stuff into the soil and eventually to change the soil structure and bring the soil to the neutral, to 6 or 7. By using organic fertilizer of NOPF, this is also can reduce the soil pH degradation. So it can be actually move back the soil pH. The mode of action why we use NOPF can bring up the soil pH is not our fertilizer to neutralize the soil pH. Because our fertilizer, when the amount you spray is like a drop in the ocean, will not change soil pH. Doesn't matter how. First, we don't need to think about our soil pH, our fertilizer pH. We just think the amount we use is very low volume, so it will not actually directly change the soil pH. We use our fertilizer to improve the soil pH is by using organic fertilizer, and you reduce other chemical fertilizer. Because you use the R fertilizer, then you don't use much chemical fertilizer. This is the actual mechanism to bring up your soil pH. So this will be concluded that I fertilizer, NOPF, doesn't matter how much you spray or put in the soil, will not alternate or change your soil pH. So it doesn't matter. Your pH of your solution is high or low, will not have impact to your soil pH. It's not 100%, not 100% to say no impact now. We say most likely will not cannot produce enough impact on your soil because the volume you put, even use a whole bucket, even use your dump your 20 liters of your solution into the soil, compared to the soil volume, is still minimum, negligible, almost nothing. So we less than 0.001%, you can change your soil pH. So don't worry about the soil fertilizer pH of R and NOPF, but you need to worry about the pH consequence of chemical fertilizer, because the amount you use larger, and also they are not organic. They are basically chemical structure. They can change soil chemical structure. Organic fertilizer, amino acids fertilizer, they all organic materials. Doesn't matter concentration, doesn't matter the volume you put in the soil, will not change soil pH. I mean, we're not, just what I said, it's not absolutely. It's some just is you can ignore it. Now we're back to the water pH we have. Water pH we have are NOPF. It depends on your solution you make. You can make dilution 1 to 1,000 ratio, or you put a 0.5 ml to a liter, or you put 2 ml into a liter. So they make a slight difference. But the pH is range from 4 to 6. So kind of slight acidic. If you do chemical analysis, you will see, okay, I need a pH of your fertilizer. What is your pH of your fertilizer? Your fertilizer pH is range from 4 to 6. It's not 7. So what is 7? 7 is water. So it'll be 7. You put something else, it may be into 8. But ours, 4 to 6. This is just a number because it will not change anything significantly to your soil, to your plants. Since the volume you use, you put 20 ml total in your 20 liters. Nothing happens. So don't worry about the pH of that, but we should know. This was a good question anyway. So this, anyone has a question on this? Today we have a lot of people here. 45. Okay, see something in the chat room. What do we? My 2 clients applied NOPF on green vegetables and they turned yellow. We suppose turn the yellow to green. It's not green to yellow. So something happens. Definitely. We have been this issue for a while, several cases. Somebody said, I spray NOPF, my pomegranate, the fruits died, and they don't produce anything. And somebody said, I had a leaf burn. I think we discussed that recently, last time or a while ago. First, our organic material is impossible to lead a leaf burning. So it's forget about that. Second, why we green change to yellow? Hypothetically, it's impossible. Something happens, not your fertilizer. First, of course, your fertilizer not 100% guarantee is totally okay. So before you buy this bottle, you should shake. You can hear something liquid inside, which means they're okay. If you shake it, nothing moves, already stick. Then you open it up, but of course you cannot open it before you pay. After you paid, and then you open up, you see, oh, it's a bad smell, oh, it's like a jelly, and it's all fermented. Then the quality is not confirmed. So something bad. Then you can blame on the fertilizer. But if you shake the liquid, you open it up, it's nothing bad smells. It's just organic nutrients. You cannot damage your plants. So even if your whole bottle dump on the plant, still not. But why do it? It's so expensive. And after you dilute it 1,000 times, it's only can act as a nutrient. It cannot damage your plants. So I don't know why you have changed the vegetable into the from yellow, from green to yellow. So something happens on other stuff. You can maybe you find your spray is clean or something. You need to check out. The common practice of your use spray is when you finish, you need to rinse 3 times. Doesn't matter what you use, especially the pesticides, fungicides, insecticides. After you use this, or if you fertilize it, you have something in it. You have to add some water to rinse it up, to spray them out, or get it out. This is the spray issue. Second, maybe simultaneously you have something else happen after you spray, like your water issue. Your soil was too dry in that field, or that corner is too dry. And I saw some cornfields. Actually, when I was in Africa, I saw it too. They used the fertilizer. Most of the field are green, but some corners they got all yellow, all tiny, small. And actually, like a month ago, me and Dr. Li, we went to a farm in New Jersey. We saw some corn, half a row is all become yellow. They claim they sprayed fertilizer or spray something else. That they didn't use our stuff. We just stopped by to see what they have. Only one row will become yellow. And I look at the bottom of the soil, that row is so dry. They actually become it was due to the drought. It's too dry. It's not a fertilizer issue, it's a water issue. When it's too dry, it doesn't matter how much you give to them. When it's dry, your soil totally stuck. Normally you have a lot of nutrients in the soil. It's just not available for plant to use. How do we make these nutrients in the soil to be available for plants to use? First thing is to give them water. Give them water, a lot of fully fertilizer, amino acid, whatever nutrients. They will become water soluble, will become available for plants to use. Second, when you give the water, you help the microorganisms in the soil, and they are started active. When they started moving, started working, you feed them water, and they can use other nutrients or organic material in the soil. They can decompose. They can try help you digest all these binded nutrients, make them smaller structure, make them available for plant to use. So water is number one important. Plant to plants, of course, to me, to human too. I bring my water all the time, anywhere I go. Water is for the source of the life. If no water, nothing. So this is maybe the water issue. And that's definitely, it's when you vegetables become yellow, it's not due to the fertilizer. Kindly explain briefly best way to spray the rice. And for the rice, we had on the pamphlet. The rice, you have to kind of like almost all the crops, almost all the agriculture, trees, plants, everything. We always think is vegetative phase and the reproductive phase. So first half, second half. we always try to give them nutrients in the early and middle stage. So for the rice, depends on how do you do. In my hometown, we do the rice seedlings in the seedling beds. So you can use a one-time spray in the seedling beds. Depends on how long it stay in the seedling beds. If it's too long, and you need to do one spray a week before you transplanting. And this way, they have enough nutrients take with them to the bigger field. Then after the transplanting, you start a week after the transplanting. You don't need to spray immediately. All the vegetables or any crops, you need to do the transplanting from the seed beds to the bigger field. You need to do one spray a week before, and another spray a week after transplanting. You don't need to spray at the transplanting. So after a week, the transplanting, the plants, first thing they need water. They will, in the field, immediately you got to start kind of well down and come back. They stay straight for the rice. And a week later, they start, okay, now I'm settled down. Now I'm starting taking nutrients for growing. So a week later, you start to give them food. Then you do bi-weekly. The rice, wheat, they also have the big issue. When you give them one seedlings, they always come out a lot tilling stage. They give one seedlings, you become 5, 10, many more new seedlings around the major one. So you promote them. You use the fertilizer, continue for them until you see the stem of the rice going up. So after you finish spraying the horizontal, when it started going up, it's time to stop. Especially for the wheat. The rice is better. If you walk in the field, you still, even you have stem already elongated. You touch it, they don't break. How about the wheat, barley? When they going to the long stem, elongated. When you go walk in the field, you will break the stem. It's very easy to break them. So that time, basically, you don't do more spray anymore. So the cutting time is when you starting going up, it's kind of a sign of you stop. But it's still, you can pay more attention in the early stage. Another thing is very important is NOPF. We are use them as a top dressing. What do I mean top dressing? You must have something base fertilizer. Yes. All your crop, you need a base fertilizer in the soil before planting. Rice need a lot of fertilizer, a lot of nutrients. So you can put a lot of compost in the field and organic manure into the field, and you can till them down, mix them with soil, make them a rice paddy field, and add enough NPK. You still need traditional NPK. You just reduce the NPK they use. After when you have this in your hand, you don't need to do NPK too much later the season or middle season, early season. you only do NPK, traditional conventional fertilizer, before planting. You add them into the soil. But new nitrogen, when you put in soil, don't put too much nitrogen in the soil. Nitrogen, nitrogen is water soluble. If we use a dry field, it's not a rice paddy field, your nitrogen will be maybe washed away or evaporate into the air. How much nitrogen in our air? We stay in the air all the time. We have about maybe 70% nitrogen in the air. We just cannot use them. So this nitrogen, where is it coming from? Maybe we contributed to by using nitrogen too much in the soil, and they lost in the air. So we don't need to give them too much. We only give them enough to use. They need it. And then this is the rice. Let's see. We have a lot of questions today. Happy birthday, Dr. Mbugo. Happy birthday. You want to say something, Dr. Mbugo? Okay. If you don't want to say anything, we can say happy birthday to you. Can I use NOPF on mango plant? Yes. Every crop, every plant needs nutrients. All the fertilizers, doesn't matter, chemical fertilizers, organic fertilizers, they are all can produce the nutrients to plants. So they all good, all good for plants. So any fertilizer you can use it on any plants. Only thing is, remember we talk about a lot about the 4 R's: right source, right time, right amount. So the most important is timing. When to give the fertilizer to the plants. That's the most important. One thing is, like if you put a chemical fertilizer, conventional fertilizer in the soil, you can load 1 kilo to a plant, but maybe not work at all. Why? One thing is you didn't give them water. If you want to put in the soil, it is a mango tree, you put in the soil, you dig a hole, put in the soil, you need to give them water a week early. Let the roots are kind of moisture. Then you dig a hole on the drop line, not in the middle of close to the trunk. Don't close the trunk. This is the plant, and where the drop line, where the water running the outside circle of the tree, and the drop line, the circle on the ground, your circle of the trunk is outside the periphery. That's the place you dig a hole where you add the water first, then you put the fertilizer, then you cover it. You still need to give them water a week and 2 weeks. This way they can dilute, they can make your fertilizer soluble, water soluble, and the plants can use them. If we just put a dump in the soil, will not work. And the timing for the all other plants, we just said about the rice. In the early middle stage, you don't want to do too much in the late stage. If we do too much in the late stage, sometimes you confuse the plants. Or I said, well, plants need a lot of potassium, phosphorus for flower, for the blooming, for the fruits, for the seeds in the later season. The thing is, this P and K a lot of times are not water soluble. Even if you spray them, useless. So we need to put a P and a K in the soil, let the soil organic microorganisms to work on them for several months, for the whole growing season. And the time they need it, the fruits and blooming, they need it and it will be available. That's why we need to put a P and a K into the soil. And put a nitrogen, put amino acids at the top dressing in the growing season. What if you have a site where there was ammonia sulfate on where are the chances of harvesting using both? I'm not sure what you mean. You have the fertilizer. Well, they are not, you can use both ammonia sulfate. Ammonia sulfate is kind of a lot of, especially for the like blueberry. When you add the fertilizer, you don't want to add something like a difference of ammonia sulfate is safe for a lot of crops. How many times I can spray on maize? Normally, we have it on the pamphlet. Normally, you say, if the short growing season, you can spray every other week. If the long growing season, you spray every month. For the maize, it's kind of short. So in the early season, you can spray every other week. You stop when you see the corn air, the female part of the silk come out. This is the time you stop. You don't need to do this anymore. When you see the corn silk come out, you are ready to get your sweet corn in 3 weeks. This is almost close to the end. Some people say, well, you can still spray. You can try spray. Don't waste too much. And later season, you can still add nutrients to your corn. The thing is, all the corn, almost all the plants, the old leaves, they will not very efficient take the nutrients. Only the new leaves take nicely nutrients. So in the later season, all the nutrients started moving all the nutrients from the leaf to your seeds. So after you see the silk of the corn, they started to move the whole plants, the nutrients from leaves, from stems to your seeds. If you still apply fertilizer, plants, they can generate some more new leaves, not that efficiently, not that cost effective. And also you may make your harvest more complicated. You supposed to, these days, a week, everything is ready to go, but because you spray something, a lot of nitrogen in the later season, have something new side branches come out, and keep going, getting more. So you cannot harvest. So you shouldn't do much after the later season. In my farm, I had no water for plants. Because, for example, the coffee farm, can I spray the leaves without watering trees? You can spray the leaves, but you have to dilute. You only dilute the. What I mean, you water the trees if you use NOPF in the soil. If you only spray the leaf, you don't need to water the roots. You don't need to water the coffee in the soil. You're supposed to have enough water for your coffee on the farm, otherwise they die. But when you spray the NOPF, diluted NOPF on the leaf, you can kindly provide the nutrients and the water on the leaf. So when you spray, you don't need to water the plants. But if you water the plants, it will be better for your soil, for your whole plants. If you don't have water, you spray. That's the benefits. Actually, the good part of your NOPF foliar application of your fertilizer is you don't need a lot of water. If you same amount of fertilizer diluted, you kind of use a bucket to the soil, you waste a lot because you may only enough to cover the top of the soil. The nutrients will not go into the deep, like 10 centimeter deeper, getting into the terminal roots. If the root terminal cannot touch your fertilizer, you only stay on the top of the soil. You will lose them all. You waste it. That's why we don't recommend, encourage you spray on the soil. If you spray soil, the amount is too little. You dry so fast. You only stay on the top, maybe 1 centimeter. The roots are deeper, like 10 centimeters away or 20 centimeters away. So you only use solid granule conventional fertilizer or organic fertilizers. You will add into your soil. You give them water, let them give a lot of water. You give a lot of nutrients, a lot of chemical fertilizer, a lot of organic compost. You give them water, let them work themselves. Make a lot of nutrients available for roots. For NOPF, we don't need a lot of water. We only need enough water to dilute your fertilizer. Enough put in your spray, back spray, and you can spray. So you still have water issue. What's the water issue is you can avoid the problem by drying too fast. How do you avoid the dry too fast for your spray? Is you don't spray during the daytime. You spray early morning or late afternoon. So the sunshine is not that bad. And when you spray and you the water film, the fertilizer, the film on the leaf will stay there for a while. And your nutrients stay in the water soluble solution. The little film on the leaf, they make them possible to move inside into the plants. If you spray too hot, sunny time, and they dry immediately, and they become powder, they are not in the water soluble situation anymore. They cannot move into your plants. That's why we don't want to spray during the hot time, during the dry time. We try to avoid the middle of the day. We put the two ends, early morning, late afternoon. That's why you maximize your timing on the leaf. And also, the thing is, if you are not use machine spray, not use helicopter spray, if your hand spray, try to spray back of the leaf. Back, most openings is on the back, underneath of the leaf. If you spray on the top, you may lose it a lot. So you spray on the back, and you have a lot of openings. The nutrients, the film, the nutrients will go into the pores underneath. What I can spray without the water? How often I spray? Well, the coffee, you have the young coffee or mature coffee plants. So young coffee basically is not old enough to produce any coffee beans. So these plants, you can spray once a month during the growing season. And the mature ones, it's kind of the same situation. You spray in the early season. You also sometimes you spray after the big harvest. The thing is, a lot of trees, a lot of fruiting trees, they have the question is, do I need to spray after I pick all my fruits? Yes or no? Yes, if you finish your harvesting, you pick all my apples, peaches, and they all finish. If you give them a boost, the nutrients, they will like a big mother. It's already give birth. They're so tired. They lack of nutrients. Do we need a big harvest next year? Next growing season? Yes, we want. So then after the harvest, any multi-year trees, coffee, peach, orange, citrus, mangoes, after you harvest, you give them one spray and they get a lot of new leaves come out. And they start to build a good foundation for next growing season. Patrick from Kenya, can I apply NOPF with other chemical fertilizer on my crops? Well, it looks like safe if we other chemical fertilizer. The thing is, chemical fertilizer you have itself have issue. What issue? You'll be easily get burn your leaf. The leaf burning if you spray chemical fertilizer. The chemical fertilizer is not organic. Organic stuff like this milk. I drink the original milk. Of course, it's 2% or something. If we drink a whole concentrated milk, it's still fine. But if we all the chemicals, same contents of the milk, but after you break them down, become only chemicals. You drink that concentration, you have issue. Issue is burning your leaf, burning your heart, burning your digestive system. So inorganic material, be careful. You will easily to burn your plants. So only a couple of species of the traditional or chemical fertilizer you can use to spray. Most of them not good to spray. One thing is easily burning your plants. Second thing is many your chemical fertilizer are not water soluble. If not water soluble, how do you spray? So what nitrogen fertilizer are water soluble. If you see a bag of the fertilizer, you see the white color, gray color, red color, or what a purple color, other colors. All other colors, they most likely not water soluble. And when you put them in the water, they will going to deposit it on your bottom of the tank. Or if you can spray tubes, you will stuck in the spray tubes. You damage your sprayer. So the balanced chemical fertilizer never put into your sprayer. You only can spray is nitrogen only. Or we have in US, we have some brand called a Miracle fertilizer. They have all kinds of nutrients in it. I think they are all water soluble. But even then, you're not supposed to spray. You can water them at the roots of their plants, your flower. Don't spray on the leaf because you will easily burn your plants. Try not to do any spray of chemical fertilizer. We'll mix NPF with other insecticides and spray together. Can I spray a mix NOPF with insecticides? Sometimes, if your fertilizer is organic fertilizer, only amino acids, or sometimes maybe if we do some experiment, it's safe, but it's not the right way to do. First, you don't spray pest insecticides all the time. You spray insecticides only when needed. If you don't have insects, why you spray? For the insects, they are not appear on every plant, or they are not appear on every corner of your field. Some corner of the field you have the insects, some corner you don't have it. And insects is very hard to control. You need to understand their biology very, very well. Otherwise, you will miss it. You don't know what's their biological window. So the timing of the insecticides totally different from the fertilizer. You want to separate them. Second, some fertilizers, fertilizers have a lot of organic material inside. And also we have trace elements in the fertilizer. So we have the good part of our fertilizer is we have amino acids plus the trace elements. And you don't know the property of these chemicals. If you mix with the insecticides, for the fungicide, relatively it's a simple structure. It's something inorganic or mineral stuff, or copper or something. For the insecticides, a lot of insecticides is very complicated. So when you mix them together, they may have something new product. They binding the trace elements with the insecticides. They produce a new structure, and then you may not work. So try not to mix it. Okay, this is all the question. I see the chatting box. Any other questions? We have 10 more minutes. We have a lot of people. Thank you. How many people? We have 52. That's a record high. It's all quiet. Anyone want to say something?
We see many Kenyan distributors today. Do you have anything you would like to share with us, or any questions you would like to raise to Professor?
Hello, Madam Rainey, how are you?
Good evening,
Happy
Dr.
birthday.
Mbogo. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. How are you, Professor?
Good, good.
Yeah, okay. We are so grateful for your discussion. Now, I have an interesting thing about Irish potatoes. About the Irish potato. Irish potatoes normally have eyes that are somehow little. I'm in a rural area that I'm near somewhere there is a noise, but I'm talking of that Irish potato that has eye with very minute leaves. And somebody was asking, now, can these small leaves, when you apply it, because we always suggest that don't apply or don't use Nutriplant fertilizer, Nutriplant organic fertilizer before germination. But this unique case of this tuber has some eyes, whereby I wonder whether if you can pray if by any chance, whether that one can assist in sprouting or it can just remain as it is. Asante, thank you.
Yeah, for the potatoes, I think that it doesn't matter what variety of your potatoes. They all have the eyes, have kind of new small leaves or some roots come out when you before you put in the soil. So this actually, one thing I try to say not to spray too early is because the potato tube, they have enough nutrients itself. You have a bigger chunk of the nutrients there. But it's still not hurt if you want to spray. As soon as you have the green stuff come out, when you give them nutrients, they will boost their germination or whatever. But if you not actually somebody said we can treat the seeds, treat the potato seeds with the nutrients, and they have. Is it necessary or not? It's not necessary. It's good it's good to add. If you not cost that much, not too much work you put in, it's not you can do it. It's like a lot of seed cold soaking. If we try to soak the seeds with the water or with the water with the NOPF. When your seeds is large seeds, they have nutrients from their mother, from the seed, from the embryo. If we tiny seeds, like a rice, like a wheat, they may little bit less nutrients, but they still have enough for a little while. So you can give them nutrients at the seed, soaking them, or you don't give to them. If you give to them, you need to do a test. You don't want to give them too high concentration, first thing. You don't want to give them too long soaking in the nutrients, soaking in the water. So you need to soak the seeds, treat the seeds after their test. And I wouldn't just do it in a large scale. I have to try first. Try a little bit to see for what's the best timing, what's the best concentration. We say we put 1 ml, 1 liter NOPF in the water to soak or to treat the seeds. And if you put less, maybe safe, put half ml. This way, when they start to germinate, the mother of nature, they give them embryo, have the food over there, can last a couple of days, several days. So you only need to boost them. That time the water is number one important. When you soak the seeds, it's also one thing that I have to be careful is your soil moisture have to be perfect for the same moisture as your seeds. If your soil is dry and you soak your seeds, and you put your seeds in the put your soaked seeds in the soil, and the soil was dry, and you kill the seeds. So if you soak them, you treated them, you have to make your soil moisture. So as back to the potato. So you can, when you see the green stuff, of course you give it to them. Just is a cost-effective issue. So you want to spray when you seed, when you come out in the soil, and you do it, or you give them earlier. It's soil, the potato seedlings come out is very strong. It's hard to kill them. So even you didn't cover with soil, it's put on soil, they still survive. So you give something, they help, they will not hurt. Another thing that we had, when some people asking, what's the concentration, nitrogen concentration of our fertilizer? So that was in the some batch some foreign amino acids, the nitrogen, total nitrogen is about 1% to 4%. We said, well, your concentration is too low compared to the conventional chemical fertilizer. Chemical fertilizer say the nitrogen is 10%, 15%, sometimes high as 40%. And you are 1% or 4%. Is it enough? It's a totally different point of view. The conventional fertilizer, 40%, or normally commonly used is 10 or 15%. 10, 10, 10 or 15, 15 in terms of the NPK. 10, 10, 10 is you don't use conventional fertilizer every other week. You put in the soil kind of like your whole growing season is 10%. And for the NOPF, we are using them every other week or every month. So we use several times, 4 to 5 times. So if we use 1% of, if our concentration is 1% or 4%, if 1% is, if we use 5 times, add them up, it will be 5%. If you 4% is started with of NOPF, use 5 times, in the end, you are top dressing the crop with 20% of your nitrogen. So in the entire season, we are not low, we're actually high than the conventional fertilizer. You put a 10% or 15% nitrogen in the soil, you may only use 30% of the conventional fertilizer. All other 70% are wasted. And why you spray the foliar and NOPF? If you give them 1% times 4 or 4% times 4 times 5, from 5% to 20% the whole entire growing season, you are using kind of almost all the nitrogen you sprayed by plants. So if you put 10% in the soil, you use only 30%, you lost 70%. You only gain, in the end, only have 3% left. If you spray the foliar amino acids, NOPF, you are gaining 5 to 20% on the leaf. So we are concentration compared to the conventional is low, but in the end, we are higher than the conventional fertilizer concentration, nitrogen concentration. That's great. I thank you so much for everyone. We have so many people here and so many questions. And can this fertilizer kill insects in my spinach? Oh, I have more questions here. No. Fertilizer is fertilizer, nutrients is nutrients, insecticides is insecticides. The insects on spinach. Normally, what is insects on your spinach? Mealybug, whiteflies, or aphids? Maybe only this kind of group. I don't know what insects you have. For the aphids, for this stuff, little ones, it's hard to kill them. We grow spinach in my place is in the cold season. We don't have insects on spinach. You have spinach in the tropical, you may have insects, but I don't know what insects you have. If you can tell me, I can give you some idea. Is the fertilizer available in Cape Town? Is available?
Yes,
I think.
actually, Cape Town is one branch in South Africa.
Yeah.
You check with your management, and then you know. We can also check with the logistic department.
I think Jessica or Kevin, somewhere over there. And I have peach trees that started blooming, and it's big trees. That's another issue. When you have huge big trees, and if it's too tall, it's hard to spray. And if it's blooming, it's kind of you spray at the peak of the blooming. After that, you stop already. So you don't have a lot of time left. So if you really have the big trees and you're too tall, you cannot reach, cannot spray, you may pay more attention to use organic compost, organic material, or conventional fertilizer into the soil. When you are likely to launch the organic fertilizer, we still have granular fertilizer. I think all this granular fertilizer working on it, and we will have more come up next year. Organic insecticides, fungicides, herbicides, not easy. We are talking about it all the time. We're not easy. Take a while. We don't want to do anything lie to you. We are scientists, and I'm not saying any stupid and lying. If no science base, I will not say anything. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope next time you still have a lot of questions, you can kill me.
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you very much for being with us. Thank you, Mr. Budiman, for promoting the presentation. Please invite more people next time and get yourself ready for more questions. We don't want to kill Professor. Actually, we want to know more from him. So thank you once again.
This is it's a good thing is we are here to help you solve any problem you have. I may not have answer for every question. I will try my best. If I don't know, I'll let you know next time. If I forget, remind me. I'm old.
Thank you, Mr. Budiman. Please kindly close this presentation.
Thank you, Madam Rainey. Thank you, Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any challenge like insect or whatever it is, maybe pests attacking your field, your farm, you can take pictures, send it to my WhatsApp, and later I can send it to Professor. Then Professor will do some research and will try to answer the question or the challenge in the next session 2 weeks from now. So remember, we are going to have this kind of discussion directly with Professor Jason Zhang from America in every 2 weeks in Saturday. So in the meantime, you can send any of your question or challenge in the NOPF group, WhatsApp group, or you can send it directly to me. So later I can forward to Professor for further investigation or preparing the answer for you. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining our Nutriplant Organic Plus Fertilizer training. Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you, Madam Rainey. I'll see you again in the next 2 weeks. I think we can unmute ourselves and say thank you and bye-bye to Professor and Madam Rainey. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Budiman.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a nice weekend. Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Dr. Mogo, happy birthday.
Thanks.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Enjoy your birthday cake.
Happy birthday, Doctor.
Where is the cake?
Birthday.
Thank you very
Happy
much.
birthday
I
and
really
good night.
The
appreciate
cake with Madame Lucy.
So I
Okay.
didn't see Lucy, where's Lucy?
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, have a nice weekend.
Bye.